Welcome to Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, your guide to mastering the realm of real estate in Central East Florida. I am Sir Lancelot Leonard, ready to uncover the secrets of seller strategies, home staging, mortgage mastery, and more. From Daytona Beach to Cocoa Beach, Lake County to St. Augustine, join me as we navigate the intricacies of real estate. As the leader of the Sir Lancelot Group at Florida Homes Realty and Mortgage, I'm here to arm you with knowledge and innovation, whether you're a seasoned homeowner or a first-time buyer, unveiling the kingdom of real estate, one roundtable at a time. Today on the Real Estate Roundtable, we're thrilled to welcome a true expert in the St. Augustine real estate scene. Zach DiFilippo is part of the team at Coldwell Banker. Zach has built a reputation for his in-depth market knowledge and commitment to his clients. Whether it's navigating the ever-changing local market trends or striking that all-important work-life balance, Zach brings insights, dedication, and a passion for real estate that is sure to inspire. Let's drive into the journey that made him stand out in the Florida real estate market. Welcome, Zach. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, man? Appreciate you having me.
Thanks for coming on, and let's dive in. So the journey, Zach, what initially drew you to the world of real estate, and how did you carve out the place in, your place in St. Augustine? Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, good intro question. When it comes to real estate, everybody, who has, my dad's been in real estate for 30 years up in Maryland. And if you have ever had family in real estate, it gets brought up. You have the curiosity of like, what does he do? Does he just drive around and open doors? Like, why is he driving this car? Whatever the case may be, you're always just curious of like, what is real estate? And I ended up going to college, studying business and minor in finance, and never once learned about real estate. I mean, everyone talked about how it's the best investment, this, that, and the other, but the curiosity still was getting to me. And finally, my senior year, I asked the head of the business department, I believe, Dr. Gary Hoover at Flagler, and I was like, why didn't we learn about real estate? In all the finance classes, business classes, we never talked about it. He goes, I don't know, why don't you just become a realtor? Without question, graduated, got into real estate. I had a buddy that I went to college with him and his wife had been in real estate for about a year, and joined up, called my dad. And he was like, are you sure? As much as a supportive, figure as he is, he just was like, you're 21 and you just got out of college and you want to become a realtor. And I was like, yeah, why not? And that's the intro to that. It's the beginning of the madness.
It's starting really early compared to the average age of a realtor is probably like 45 or something.
Yeah, well, trust me, my dad let me know. He was like, hey, in our market, the average age is 55. What are you thinking at 21? I was like, why not? Might as well fail now and figure it out later. So I was very fortunate and jumped in with two people locally, Luke and Sadie Newcomer, and it was just us three. And beginning of 2017, none of us knew what we were doing. We were just calling people and it was crazy.
Sound like Altman brothers, like they were like banging out phones when they started too, so.
Yeah, I mean, within a couple of years, there was a dozen, 10, 12, 15 people in a bullpen, and we were all just calling, walking around and going nuts. It was crazy.
The bullpen. Oh, I remember those days.
It was true. All the desks were, it was a rectangular bullpen, and in the middle, we had a ping pong table, and it was just fun. I mean, you're young, everyone else around you is young, and you're starting to barely make six figures, and you think you run the world, and then you're like, wait a second, like, this is tough work. Like, these people, people trust you. It's a lot of moving parts in real estate, and there's one thing to sales and transactions, and there's a whole nother world when it comes to the relationships and the long-standing career of it.
Of course. The relationships, tell me a little bit about that. How do you deal with the relationship part of things?
Well, it comes down to more, the best way I could put it is just listening more and actually like hearing their problems versus when you first get started, you get excited about being in sales. You get excited about saying you can sell a house, seeing all these pretty houses. And then you get that commission breath. No matter what anyone says, when you first get started and you're really fighting for that first sale and you don't have much money in the bank and you don't know where the next check's coming because you're 100% commission, you just think about the transaction. You think about what it's going to take to get the deal done. But once you get a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more confident, you know your market, you know your value, you know what you can bring to the table as a realtor and not just a glorified door opener, is when you start to listen more and kind of with coming with the confidence and experience, you start to avoid pitfalls and you're able to build the relationship so that person looks at you at the closing table and says like, oh my God, Zach, thank you so much for doing X or Y or Z, whatever the case was. So that person then thinks about like you saved them or there was a stressful situation and they finally got their first house. And then now you've got a long-term relationship that they tell their sister-in-law or mother-in-law that I was able to hear out their problems and like felt more than just opening up the door and saying, hey, would you want to buy this for this price? You know, it was more than just a sale.
Oh, definitely. Our business is more relationship based. I think it's more psychology than it is sales. A lot
Yeah,
of
100%. Once you learn the market and you understand like the basics of real estate, the rest of it's just psychology. Yeah, it's just basically dealing with other people and making sure you can manage those expectations and relationships.
emotions a lot of times.
Emotion, yeah, that's a word I should have started with. It's emotional.
It's emotional, yeah.
In the beginning, I was very emotional. I always wore my customers' emotion. If they were stressed, I was stressed. If they were excited, I was excited. And then you didn't realize, like, wait a second, sometimes they're leaning on you to see how your emotions are going, you know?
Yeah,
So
that's
there's a big lesson.
definitely true. So real estate can be all consuming and as we know in our industry. How do you retain the healthy work-life balance while staying successful in your fast-paced business, you know?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, and I've told this to other agents that I've been around and worked closely with. My very first year in real estate, I don't think I took a full day off. And it was literally it was a literally year. It was probably 365th day. It was on a Saturday and I was getting ready for showings that day and I had all my showings printed out and there was someone up at the front of the office and I had just drank like 3 espressos and just was like ready for the day. And the person said something to me from the front of the office and I couldn't talk. I
Wow.
couldn't like talk. I literally was like, and I freaked out, you know. I went home and my wife's like, what's wrong with you? Are you having a stroke? I was like, I don't know. I was like, you got to take me to the hospital. Go to the hospital. And they're like, we think you had a panic attack. And I was like, nah, no way. I didn't have a panic attack. I don't have a panic attack. And they were like, what have you been doing? And my wife, my now wife is in the room. She was my girlfriend at the time and was like, he's worked every single day and hasn't taken a single day off. And that is when I realized, like, wait a second, there's got to be a balance to this. There's people that are making more, selling more than me, working half as much as I am. What am I missing? And then I tell it to every new agent that sometimes you got to get a lot of those reps in and a lot of that initial kick in the teeth out of the way, and then you can start to figure it out. So now I'm much more balanced. Now you can figure out time blocking and listening to Tom Ferry, you'll start to really time block your schedule and you'll understand that people need to respect your time as much as you respect theirs. You can't just call up any doctor at any time and say, hey, you need to open for me at this time. This is the only time I can come in. It's like, no, you have your own schedule. You have your own family. You have your own health to think about. So it's a long answered question, but I didn't have balance for a while.
I totally agree with you on time blocking. And I don't pick up the phone anymore after 8 unless it's an in deal client and we're working on something together.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it for them, up
Yeah,
until 9:30 ish. That's like the latest. But I remember
right.
first year up here where we are right now in the Daytona area, I had a client. We used to talk on the phone for 3 hours a freaking day. And it was like 11:30 and my wife was knocking on the balcony door is like, hey, you should come in and go to sleep because tomorrow you're waking up and doing this again. And
Right.
I was like, oh, I'll be right in. I'm just still on the phone, and that's, it takes a toll on you. It takes a
It's a
toll.
huge toll. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not necessarily solving the world's problems. You know what I
No.
mean? Like I'm not, you know,
It
fixing
was,
someone's, I'm not doing brain surgery or heart surgery. It's the title company's closed, the lender's closed. Who's answering at 9 o'clock at night? No one. You're just answering their worries is basically what you're doing.
oh, with her, it was about her life stories and all that stuff. It was more of a, hey, I can't afford a psychologist, so I'm just going to call my realtor and just
Yeah.
lean on them and ask for their advice on how
Yeah.
to handle a situation with my husband or my kids or something. Like,
And yeah,
and
sometimes you
you're
got to
there
do
and you're
that.
like, yeah, like, you hear those stories a lot. So I guess you get somewhat trained in it, but I'm not a professional at this, I'm like, I sell homes. I can tell you about the real estate market
Right.
and, talk you
We
off.
do deal with a ton of personalities, and the more and more you do it, the more personalities you run into, and you know how to handle certain personalities better than others. So I guess it is something that you do get very good at, is dealing with other people's emotions and styles of communication and how to let things roll off your back.
Definitely, definitely. So the local real estate market is constantly evolving. What kind of strategies do you use to keep up with the trends, and how do you leverage that knowledge to benefit your clients?
Always keeping up to date with the relationships that I have in regards to vendors. My best friend is one of the biggest insurance guys in this area. He runs his own insurance company and is an absolute wizard when it comes to insurance. I'm lucky to call him a best friend, but if he wasn't a best friend, I'd still call him every other day to see if there's anything new or changing or something I wasn't aware about, so that I can bring that value and kind of regurgitate it to a customer. Now you got to be, there's a fine line. I'm not a licensed insurance agent, so I can't spew off specific things, but there's enough that I can say that makes me have the knowledge to help them get across to a decision. And same with the lender. The lender's like one of my lenders, one of the three. She's like a second mom to me. Literally, we call each other all the time, catch up on life, this and the other. But then she'll call me. The other day, she called me. She's one of only two lenders in the entire county that is allowed to do this program that I believe statewide, but I'd have to ask her. I know for a fact we can do it here in St. Johns County. It's $100,000 down payment assistance, and it's a second position loan. And it's like, I can go around now to first time home buyers and say, hey, listen, I know this loan if one of only two lenders in the whole county can do. So there's value right there. And then it goes on and on. The title guys that I work with and hang out with, it's just like, you really got to get to know more than just, oh, this house down the street sold. Or, yeah, oh, the beach here is getting restored in this. It's like little things like that. It's like, oh, that's cool to know, but where's the value really come from?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense, that's kind of a tangent.
God, I haven't even heard of the 100,000. That's a
Yeah,
big
it's
assistance.
called the SHIP program, SHIP, and it's nuts. I mean, it's for first time home buyers. I think as a single guy, or single guy or a female, you can only make $96,000. As a couple, it's $108,000 max household income. You have to go through a little program, but you're good once you're approved. You're good for 12 months, and they'll give you $100,000 down payment.
That is insane.
What?
That is
Yeah,
insane. Like,
and there's
do they
not
pay for
crazy strings
closing
attached.
too from that, or is that just for
Uh,
the down payment?
I'm not sure, but again, that lender is one call away. So if I'm with a buyer and they're freaking out and have certain questions, I'll just call her real quick, and then she'll be able to just bounce off all the answers.
I know it's more lender specific question, but I thought it was like
Yeah, but
it's
like
just
I'm
fascinating.
sure it's flexible. It's wild, but like stuff like that, a big thing that I've learned. The partner that I work with now, one of his biggest value adds is local relationships. So if we're at a house, we were just at a house at a listing appointment. The reason that I had to postpone this meeting, we're at this listing appointment. It was an elderly couple. They were stressed out about the move. They had to move by the end of the year. She's all worried about our landscaping and the weeds, and this tree got cut and there's a big mound there. She's called this person and this person. One guy showed up and said that they would do it for $1,500, all the stuff that she wanted to do. On the truck ride home, I called the landscaper that I know, who's a local guy, and he said, yeah, I'm 45 minutes away. I'll be there. And he's there at the house, probably still sitting with her, going over line by line what it's going to take. And I bet you he's less than half. I bet you he's $500, not $1,500. And it's just stuff like that. Like, she needs a painter. She's worried about the paint on her garage door. We have a painter going there next week. And it's like, things like that to make the life and the transition in life way smoother.
And the sales price goes up too.
Exactly. I know it's not breaking the budget. We just saved her. Say that the guy does it for $500, who was going to do it for 1,500. We just saved her $1,000. Now that goes back to her net proceeds. That goes back to her bottom line when we talk about what's the true net when you sell. So it's saving money, time, convenience up front, and not just waiting to be reactive when something hits the fan.
I mean, boom, there's a big value for everybody about a realtor. Like you call your guy that's foot's on the ground, has people in their back pockets.
Yeah.
These are things you don't get from a robot and you don't get from a person that's going to list your home for $500. Like, I'm just saying,
there's no motivation. Yeah. There's
yeah.
no motivation.
Oh, you have some pictures? Yeah. I took it with my iPhone. Great. Give it to us. We'll take those.
Exactly.
Slap it in the MLS for you, and let's hope it sells. In this market that we're having right now, it's been tough. It's not 2022. It's not 2021 anymore. It's been tough. So, and it's just going into a more regular market, and then it's going to become a buyer's market. And then cycles go. We had a big seller's market for a few years now.
Yeah. Setting that expectation. If you're a good realtor and you really care about the customer and not the commission, you will talk with them through every scenario, through the market. Talk about, in 2017, it was so common to go show a house and then let the couple go out to dinner, or whoever it was, go out to dinner, sleep on it, call you in the morning, have the conversation, get a second showing, really talk about it, then make the decision. And you know what that took? It took 2, 3, 4 months to sell a house that was priced right. That's not the end of the world, but you're an agent that was brand new, and nothing bad with brand new agents. I was brand new and I didn't know anything, but if you're a brand new agent in 2022 and you remember all the houses selling in 3 days, it's what you know. So when you go to a listing appointment and then you get the listing and then 2 weeks go by and your seller's calling you being like, why the heck isn't it selling? It should sell in 3 days. You told me it would sell in 3 days. You said you sold houses in 3 days. It's like, no, it's just a normal market. It's okay to sell in 3 months. If it's priced right, it's show ready. There's not been any other hiccups that we can figure out. It just takes time. Like they lean on you. They come to you as someone that they can trust and hear advice from.
Exactly. So what are some of the biggest challenges you face? Tell me the best story you got in your back pocket in your career. And then how did you overcome those challenges? If you have a good story about a situation with a client, or if you have a good story about maybe getting your license or whatever, just what's that biggest thing that besides the story you already told me about, going to the hospital after getting a panic attack.
That was gnarly. I definitely was like, I think I should just be like a UPS driver. That sounds like a much better job. And no offense to them. I swear I wanted to be a UPS driver. That was like way chiller than getting yelled at on the phone or cold calling 150 people.
You still go to Buc-ee's too for,
heck yeah, dude,
$15 an hour.
Yeah, exactly. The question is, what's one of the crazier stories? Or what got me to a second?
Most challenging, let's say. It's like, let's say this. You know how a lot of the mentors and gurus talk about the breakthrough point? What's that story in your career that was, you broke through and you're like, okay, I can do this even better with a bigger volume and et cetera, et cetera. What was that deal, or what was that point, or what was that in your life where you felt that breakthrough?
That's a good question. I'd say one memorable deal that I remember doing more deals without losing as much sleep was after this deal. I won't say any names, but it was this couple in a nice neighborhood on Anastasia Island, and it was before Christmas time. And every year I go back up to see family in the Maryland area. And I was so ready to go up there and so excited to go see everybody. But all I needed to do was have this deal closed prior to leaving for the trip. And the guy, I believe he was an engineer. And you learn as other realtors, if they're listening, like you'll learn the personalities you mesh well with. And for whatever reason, I don't do too well with engineers. They're very analytical. They're very to the point. I'm a little bit more like relaxed and try to just like, trust me, go with the flow type. And this guy, he knew I was young. He knew I was a little bit more free flowing. And he just was drilling me from the first day, from the day we negotiated the deal to the inspections. He just wanted me to be meaner and negotiate harder. And I didn't know any better. All I wanted to do was make this dude happy. And I could tell he was stressed, so I was stressed. And the wife was super nice to me, but I was like, are you just being like extra nice because you know your husband hates me type of situation? And we get to the final walkthrough, and the security system had been taken from by the sellers. They took the cameras, they took the Ring doorbell, and they took I think it was the Apple like Wi-Fi booster that came with it or something. And man, did he light me up. And to a point that he was acting like he was not going to close on the deal because they rescinded on what they said they were going to do. And it was 2 days before I was leaving for my Christmas trip. And I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep at all. And I was just so stressed out about that, to a point that I snapped. I just was like, screw it. I don't care if he closes. I don't care about this deal anymore. I'm gonna go tell the agent I'm gonna give them $500 for a security camera and never talk to me again. And I went to the next final walkthrough, the second final walkthrough, and I gave him the Wi-Fi booster and whatever, like a couple $100. I forget the exact details, but what made it square. But I made it to a point that I was like, I snapped. I was like, I don't care if this deal closes. I'm done. Not worth it. As much as I was so worried about the check, and I was so worried about these people being happy, and I was so worried about blah, 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 I was over it. I was like, all this stress for what? I haven't talked to my wife in a day. I've been just pulling my hair out thinking that, the world's ending. When realistically, in 48 hours, I'm going to be with my family up north, and I'm not even going to think about this deal ever again. And I got back from Christmas break, and then it was the new year, and I started doing like a few deals under contract. And the word's not jaded, but it is. You get the I guess the armor hardens a little bit more. Your skin gets a little tougher, thicker, as they say. So it's like that right there. I remember just being so stressed out before the holidays, and eventually just not giving up. I would have obviously done everything in my fiduciary responsibility to get the deal closed, and ethical reasoning. Everything was there, but I just was done being bullied. And swear to God, 6 months later, he referred me a son, and I saw the son, and they're awesome.
They're awesome.
They're
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say, I'm not sure, because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You know how it is. It's like, who do you want a referral from is who you ask for a referral. Like, it is so true. They mop the floor with us all the time. Oh, we're like the punching bag, we're the psychologist, we're the money bag that, you're going to make so much money. You could throw, you could buy me a new dishwasher or a new water heater or a new this or a new that. I'm like, what? Like, I'm not your mom or dad, like I get paid for what I do. I'm running your transaction. I'm showing you how. That's what I get paid for. I'm not here to.
I've bought a lot of dishwashers. I've bought a lot of
I know, same here.
Random stuff. I mean, I bought security cameras. I bought furniture.
I had plumbers change out, stuff a lot of times.
Yeah.
I had a pool heater. That was one of my things. I changed out a pool heater. Seriously, like just to get the deal closed. That could be a couple grand. Oh yeah, it wasn't a cheap one, but I was lucky on that deal. Knock on wood. That was a $900,000+ deal on the sale, and then they also bought with me. So it was like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take the hit on that one. But yeah, they like to always. In where I come from, or what I teach my children is, it's none of our business what they make. It's not your business what I'm going to make. Look at your bottom line. Is that something you like? If it is what you like, then you should care about. You shouldn't look at the line above it that says commission for Realtor.
I could have made more. Yeah.
Exactly. How you bite the arm off, and it's going to be an armless transaction at that point. Like, I'm not going to, and I have a big investor. He's a developer and sold thousands of homes. And he told me that he used to go down and dig deep and beat down the realtors to like bare minimum, a couple percent, and he realized that was in the beginning of his career. It's like, I did it, like I got them down to a percent.
Yeah.
And then he had hundreds of homes for sale, and he's like, nobody's bringing me any deals. Nobody's bringing me any deals. And then he realized that once he like went back and renegotiated the deal and said, okay, you know what? I'll pay you full and I'll give you a bonus. The house
Boom.
is sold within a month. All his inventory. He's like, that's what the power of realtors is. And then
Right.
like, dude, they can bring you volume if you treat them right. And how do you treat a realtor right is you pay them pretty much.
Right.
I mean, otherwise, yeah, just don't use this as a mop. But
Exactly, dude.
respect is also nice, you know. And
I've not been bullied and mollywopped like that since.
sense. Yeah. I had those clients. My wife is like, you used to be different when you did real estate in the beginning. I said, yes, I used to be different. I used to be the punching bag for everybody. Now I'm not. I
Yeah.
just don't take it anymore. I'm like, I tell them
Yeah.
straight out. My day starts at 10 a.m. I'm in the gym from 8 to 10. You can't bug me. I don't pick up the phone,
Yeah.
you know? And then after 10, we can start talking and I'll work till 8, you know, or
Right. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
day.
You set those expectations and then you
Yeah.
meet them, but it goes both ways. You set your own expectations with your customers. Hey, I have family time at this time. I'm doing this, this, and this.
Yeah.
But then if you set the expectations for them, like, hey, I'm going to call you tomorrow at 3, and they know tomorrow at 3, I'm calling them. I'm not calling them at 3:03. I'm not calling them prior. And it's all about making sure you can trust each other.
So tell me, for someone just starting out in real estate, what advice would you give about finding success in a competitive market like St. Augustine?
I would say it's going to be the stereotypical, like, just keep going. Every time you feel you have a tough day and you didn't get a sale or you didn't get a good lead, just keep doing it. Shake every tree you can, do open houses, be at the office, do all the floor shifts, you know, door knock if you can in your certain neighborhoods, be in front of people. You hear from every single angle in the real estate coaching world. It's only about contacts. It's all it is. And it's not to be so, stereotypical salesy, but it's a numbers game. It's literally just talk to as many people as possible. If you're not talking to people, how are they going to know that you're coming? Like, they have no idea. They're not calling you. You could put a flyer on a bus stop. First of all, who are you marketing to and who do you want to call you first? Who do you want your customer to be? But in the beginning, you don't know where relationships go. The first buddy of mine that we worked together would always harp that. It's just, if it's a $50,000 lot deal, yes, it's not, you're not going to make a bajillion dollars off of it. But you sell that $50,000 lot and you get that person out of the bind, then next thing they got to sell their house or their uncle's got to sell their house, and you helped them at a time that no one else would help them. And you sell the uncle's house. Turns out the uncle lives in a neighborhood that he knows everyone, and he's the president of the HOA, and now you're in that neighborhood. It's like the relationships are insane. I know I've said that a million times, but it's just get in front of as many people as possible. If you're at a name brokerage that has people that do a lot of listings, ask them if you can do the open houses every weekend. The amount of times that I've gotten leads off open houses and thought I would never talk to the person again, and I just follow it up like a banshee. That should be it. Actually, is get contacts and follow up.
Persistence,
discipline,
and patience.
Yeah.
No, those 3 words are big in our industry that a lot of people don't practice because it's a 3-month wait time until your first deal closes.
Exactly. Yeah.
What you do today, you'll see 3 months from now. We talked about it before the interview started, is that you were prospecting and you've been prospecting September, August.
Exactly.
You're already preparing for the first quarter of next year.
I'm already setting up the foundation for how next year starts running. Because now, and again, my other buddy used to say it all the time. He's like, Christmas is already here. It's done. Like, 2024 is over. Start thinking about next year. Let's go. And it's like, now I'm not saying that I'm setting my current customers aside. It's just, you really always got to be prepared for the day to day, but then what is coming down the pipeline? Because once that pipeline dries out, you're panicking.
Oh yeah. I had that happen. Not panic. I don't panic because I have other things going on. Yeah, rental property.
Yeah, but it happens,
Still, yeah. When you're like, oh, my main source of income is dwindling and dwindling.
Yeah, once that well dries out, and you're like, wait a second, my pending board has nothing, and then you're like, wait a second, that means I don't have anything coming in.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're brand new, just stick with it. It's tough, but it's tough.
That is great advice for the people getting into the business right now. And that is real estate. It's not 2022 pay for Zillow and everybody's knocking on your door trying to, hey,
Yeah.
right now, I need to see that house because in an hour they have
It's selling. Yeah.
yeah. So real estate is, be persistent, find more contacts, leads. That's the name of the game. It's
Right.
like when you tell your clients it's location. For us, it's leads.
Yeah. Just have them. And once you get those leads and you establish the connection, hold on to it. Don't burn anybody. Don't shortchange anybody. Use that as motivation to get to the next deal and the next relationship and get your name out there. And then before you know it, I work with a guy now. I don't think he needs to make calls ever in his life again.
Be a good human being, that's
be a good human. And then people will call you eventually. Does not happen quick. I've been doing it almost 8 years.
I know. I'm been licensed for 9+, but in our area, I've been here for 5, almost 6 years. And I'm just starting to see the reciprocal business coming in, that the old clients that I sold in the last 3-4 years, they're like, hey, I have someone that wants to buy or sell. Oops, there you go.
You good? Yeah.
Yeah. So last question. What are your future goals in real estate, and how do you see the industry evolving in the coming years?
Goals are definitely be a very well-known local presence, just continuing that local presence and local knowledge expert. If you ever listen to Tom Ferry, that's a big thing he always says, is be the local knowledge expert and be the local knowledge broker. And in regard to the industry, I think we're seeing it happen as we speak with the new law in place. I think it's bring value. And if you don't bring value, people are going to see right through it. There is no
door openers anymore.
There is no online lead calling you and you being able to sign the deal right then and there. You have to ask for your commission. You have to show your value, and you have to realize, this is a profession. People are making a huge decision. So I think that will tighten up the industry in a favorable way for not only realtors, but obviously consumers.
Oh, that is really cool. So, Zach, thank you very much for joining us on the pod. Here's the time for your little plug-in. If you want to, advertise anything, if you have a book or a website or Instagram or whatever, you can put your little plug-in here and let me know. And
cool. My last name's DiFilippo, so it has 2 P's in it. My nickname is Flip. So my website is flipflorida.com, flip with 2 P's. That's same as my social media is Flip Real Estate, Flip FLIPP Real Estate, and FLIPP Florida spelled out. And that's just if you need to contact me, if you have more questions, if you're curious about getting into real estate, or even just want to know more questions about my first year, I'm an open book.
That's awesome. Thank you, Zach, for being on the show again. And it was awesome. I hope to have you on in the future as well. Let's see how everything turns out. Thank you very much.
Yeah, stoked to meet you, man. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for joining us on Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, where we've unveiled the mysteries of real estate together. Remember, in this kingdom of possibilities, every dream home is just a discussion away. I can help your real estate dreams come true. Just call me at 786-449-7518. Until our next roundtable, may your ventures be prosperous and your homes be filled with love and joy. Farewell, fellow knights of real estate.